Joker. So with Joker, Folie à Deux. I'm really sure I butchered that, but I'm also not sure if I butchered that at the same time. But if you say it with confidence, you don't look like an idiot. At least I hope so. With Joker 2 on the way, I wanted to talk about Joker. Because I did not review this movie when it came out. Mainly because I was not old enough to see R-rated movies when it came out. Now, well, I was old enough, but I didn't. Well, actually, no, I was like 16 at the time. Couldn't get into an R-rated movie by myself, no matter how much I wanted to. I was still kind of watching R-rated movies there, but it was like selective ones my parents would let me see with them or grandparent, right? But eventually, I did watch this movie on a home video, and I thought about reviewing it back many years before that, and I just kind of never did. So I wanted to finally talk about my thoughts, and I may review The Killing Joke, not the animated movie, the book, the comic. Not sure if I'm going to do that, but we'll see. This movie is not good. When this movie came out, this movie was a big deal, and it's very strange. It's a big deal, and I'll explain why in a minute. Basically, what propelled this movie was two things. It was a really great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. That is not non-deniable, and we'll talk about his performance, what's great about it, and things like that. But it was really a critic who, I forget the name of this critic. He was there, and there was few others that also followed in this bullshit thing that they were doing. But basically, essentially, what they were doing is they went into a film festival, saw Joker, and then they proclaimed that this movie was going to cause the next mass shooting. Which, first of all, just the reality of this is like, there's never been a movie or a video game that has caused a mass shooting. There are shooters who have, laid reference to pieces of media and then committed violence, but that is on the person who commits the violence, not the worker piece of media. Like, because guaranteed, if I go shoot up a school after watching Batman Begins, right? That's my fault. That is not Batman Begins' fault, because there's other 100 people who probably sat down that same day, watched Batman Begins, and didn't think about shooting up a school. Like, so this guy kind of spread around this theory, and so people felt really like interested in seeing it. And then it's a fucking DC IP, right? And it was a very low budget movie too, so there was kind of like, there was not really no risk for DC, so they kind of made their bank back with this one. And I think that's what this movie is. It is a zeitgeist movie where lots of people will tell you things about it, and you gotta go see it for yourself. You see it, and you're like, wow, Joaquin Phoenix's performance is so great. But then you don't really think about the movie after that. Because if you think about the movie after that, it falls apart. Like, not like, oh, you realize there's plot holes or issues or things like that. No, I don't mean that. You just realize, oh, I've seen this before. There isn't really any much to stand out to it. So, Joker is an interesting movie because of all that backstory. I think for me, I'm not a Todd Phillips fan. I don't really enjoy any of his movies other than parts of The Hangover. I think The Hangover is kind of a fun movie, but it gets worse every time the more I sit with it. Todd Phillips has never been a great director. I don't think he maybe has ever directed a good movie, at least the ones I've seen, which isn't many, but yeah. This is such a weird departure for him. But it's like, I've seen people praise his direction before with this, and I just don't fucking get it. It's one of those things where, if you tell me anything is good about this movie other than Joaquin Phoenix's score and occasional moments of cinematography, then I'm like, I don't get what you're talking about, because none of that's there. This is not a really well-directed movie. This is not anything more. This is not even a Todd Phillips movie. Let's just be real. This is a Joaquin Phoenix movie. This movie is made to capture a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm really negative, but really what bothers me about this movie is this is a movie for dumbasses who really don't enjoy movies. If you tell me Joker's your favorite movie and you haven't seen some of the movies that this movie is not even hiding the fact that it's ripping off, and some people might compare that to a Quentin Tarantino. Well, Quentin Tarantino doesn't hide its influences. Yeah, but Quentin Tarantino is playing loving tribute. Joker does not feel that way to me. Joker feels like Todd Phillips said, I like Taxi Driver. I like King of Comedy. Just, I'm going to do that. And he just does it. And it's bad because it's just like, there is no loving tribute. It is just him taking things from those movies, ripping them off in this weird, perverted version of Batman lore that I don't really care to see. I don't, and it's made even worse by shit like Bruce Wayne being in the movie when he didn't need to be. I also just think it's also just like It's a Beautiful Mind, Ron Howard's film. He just took all these movies and just kind of blended them into a blender, and didn't really make something new. He made something old, but familiar. Which I get, that's an odd sentence. But, that's just kind of what this movie is to me. And so, while I appreciate some things about this movie, like Joaquin Phoenix's performance, it's incredible how he's able to recreate that laugh of that, I forget the medical condition it's called, but he has that condition, and it's a real-life condition, and he expertly captures that on the screen and things like that. And there's a lot to appreciate about this movie, but I encourage you, if you think Joker is the best movie you've seen and you love Joaquin Phoenix performances, go watch a different Joaquin Phoenix movie. There are so many better Joaquin Phoenix performances out there. Two Lovers is one. I'm Still Here is a little bit of a weird one, but I really like that one. Even Beau is Afraid recently. I mean, that's not a movie for everyone, but there's tons of other Joaquin Phoenix performances that are just fascinating and great. And then this is the one that gets all the attention. It's maddening. And I get sometimes we just need to realize, just because something gets the most views or seen the most, like, the top 10 of the box office are not the best movies playing in theaters right now. They're just not, right? That's kind of what we need to acknowledge sometimes with movies. I don't know. And just culture in general. What gets the most eyeballs isn't always what's the best. And I think people get caught up in that. I don't know. I'm sorry this review comes across as a rant, but it really is a rant because it's really more me trying to just really make people understand that I don't understand why this movie became the zeitgeist that it is, and really isn't anymore. I mean, as much as people make references to it, meme it and stuff, and people seem excited about the sequel, I don't think this movie left a cultural impact. This is going to be a forgotten movie in time. And I think not like no one will talk about, but it'll be like your friends bring it up. And remember that Joker movie that came out and people are like, oh yeah, and then that's it. Heath Ledger is still talked about. I do not hear Joaquin Phoenix talked about in Best Jokers. I hear Jack Nicholson. I hear Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know. It's just a mess of things, this movie, that just don't work for me. I think that this movie is maybe the worst thing to come out of DC in recent memory, films-wise, other than Batman vs. Superman. Because this movie does feel very disrespectful to the characters and just people involved with the project, and it's very peculiar, and I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.